Hey, Todd, generally speaking, everyone talks about, the things you can learn in playoff races or playoffs compared to less stressful situations. Can you go over a few of those areas where you think a young player can really learn when they're in a playoff race?
Yeah, there is no charity when you're in the playoff race, and I use that word real lightly because it's never charity. But um, the experiments, the hey, let's give this guy a chance and let him play 18 minutes when maybe he's only ready for seven. That doesn't exist. And last year down the stretch, we were able to purposely or you know, not the word purposely, but productively use that time where we were out of it, and we gave a lot of young players an opportunity to play, but there wasn't a lot of stress or pressure on them. So that was a good time for them to enter. But now the games are a little bit different. They're more intense. The battles are a little heavier. The block shots mean a little bit more. The preparation and alteration from game to game is really important, especially when we're playing these series of games against teams. It's very much playoff like, and all of that experience is really important for our young players right now. Everybody talks about playoffs. The journey to the playoffs is pretty darn important, and teams have to learn how to do that before they even get to play in a best of seven series. And we have a group of five players. And then you can sprinkle a few others in, maybe six, seven, eight, nine other players or total players that have experienced NHL playoffs. Everybody else is just learning how to get there. And the fact that we're in it and we're pushing hard for that spot is a real valuable thing for the evolution of our team.
Thank you. Very well said. Thank you.
Next up is John Hoven.
Todd, anything at all that you can tell us on the status of Toby?
He didn't skate today, so I would say he's doubtful for tomorrow.
And Martin Furt, from what we understand, he was back with you guys this morning in a regular jersey. Is that right?
Yeah, he skated in a regular jersey. He's not playing in either of the two games this weekend. I can tell you that. He needs a lot of practice time. It's been a long road back for him, and I give him credit for working hard. I think I mentioned that the other day on our call. But with that being said, he needs some practice time, and even getting that right now is hard because of all the games we play. We're so short when it comes to actual practice that he's going to have to work hard to get himself back to where he needs to be.
Thanks, Todd.
Next up is Zach Dooley.
Todd, coming up is a pretty extended run of games at home. Other than the obvious of you're not traveling and you're playing your own building, like what are the benefits that you guys have with so many of these important games coming in your own building?
Well, we're comfortable at home, or we should be. It's our building, our environment. We're familiar in our locker room. We get to sleep in our own beds. We're around our families. We don't have to eat hotel food. Our training facility is much better than what you would get on the road. There's so many things. Last change could be real important for our team. The fact that after the game you get to rest at home rather than in a hotel, it could be a positive or a negative. But we were talking the other day. We've just played 20 of our last 30 on the road. Somebody would have told me that yesterday or the day before, I wouldn't have believed them because the year just feels different. But if you did that in a typical 82 game season, traveling from city to city, boy, would you ever feel it. But the travel's been much better, much easier, I think, this year. So there's benefits to both sides of it.
Thanks, Todd.
Next up is Lisa Doman.
Yeah, Todd, I was wondering if you could speak to the effort of the 5D that were out there in the third period and how they dealt with the setback of losing Toby for the third.
Yeah, losing Toby certainly made it harder on those individuals. 5 of them, and losing another left-handed shot. All of a sudden, you're asking a few righties to get over to the left side for some shifts. But Roy and Walker both did a good job of that. I thought Trent Yanni did a real good job of managing that group, making sure they were fresh at the right time. whistles, and our forwards protected them. There's a lesson to be learned there. When we go to 5, we seem to protect them. We fewer turnovers. We're more conscious of shorter shifts, getting them on and off the ice. It's probably something that should carry into our game when we play 6 or 7D, but we're still working on that part of game management.
How quickly do you think Brendan Lemieux could be integrated into the group once he clears quarantine? Would it take a few practices before a game, or what? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, it'll likely take a practice or 2 for sure before a game. We're not concerned about his conditioning. I think he's a well-conditioned athlete. I think he's going to be excited about joining the group. The structure part will have to sit with him. He'll need to feel what it's like to walk through it on the ice at least, and just get to know his teammates a little bit. Again, the COVID restrictions take him out of just getting to know his teammates. He's not allowed to be around them right now, and once that opens up, then we'll make some calls on when we think we should put him in.
Thank you.
Next up is Daryl Evans.
Todd, last night your team had success 5-on-5 creating the offense. What did you see differently than maybe over the last handful of games that you weren't scoring as many goals?
We created more outnumbered rushes last night than we did in the past, and I think that's due in part to having the lead. The other team has to get aggressive. They've got to hold the line and pinch a little bit more. The first goal, we beat a pinch, went up on the glass and outskated. We created a number of 2-on-1s, beating their pinch. And it didn't always lead to goals, but it led to offensive zone whistles. It allowed us to sustain a little more time in their end. Thought we were a little hungrier in and around the paint. Elias Anderson's goal, for example. So, and then we got a few fortunate bounces. The dump in the end of the penalty kill, the puck didn't go forward. It actually almost came backwards to Al and Alex, and he buried it. Simple plays to the goaltender's feet from bad angles. Jad's goal. So a lot of things we've preached they used, and it allowed them to score some goals.
And on the power play, even though he didn't come up with a goal last night, a couple of posts by Kempe. You seeing things, getting more opportunities coming from it lately?
I thought last night that one unit was dangerous. Things we talked about at the morning meeting they used. A little more direct, not as cute, if you will. And a couple posts here. There was a great shot from the point. Brownie set up a good screen, and Fleury made a good save. So dangerous there. Disappointed in the second unit. In fact, we created a third unit, and that group has to give us more. They're very, very capable of it, and they just flat out have to give us more. And we addressed it today, and we'll see if they can provide that over the next week.
Thank you.
And time for one more here from Patrick O'Neill.
Okay, well, worked up the nerve to ask a question here, Todd.
Anytime, Patty.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Nice win. Goalie question. Does it help you as a coach in your career if you know who the opposing goaltender is going to be? Like if you know who's in net, let's say tomorrow, does that help you prepare? On the flip side, I seem to remember when you were in Edmonton or San Jose that you didn't seem to care if you announced who was starting, if I'm sitting in on your pressers. I was curious about your philosophy on that.
Well, it doesn't take long for the opposing team to figure it out. Usually a morning skate will do it. And what it does is if you tip your hat early, you allow the team to do more homework and more research on that individual. When we're playing in this situation that we're in right now against the same 7 teams, there's only 14 goalies that are really involved. We better have a good book on them already. But things change. Goaltenders get confident. They get hot. They may get cold and frustrated. I think typically we'd like not to announce who's starting, just to make the other team work a little bit. And I see it with Billy Ranford. The sooner he can find out who's playing and accurately find out, the more work he can get done. And he does do a pretty in-depth scouting report on the other team's goaltenders. It's not always about, hey, where is he weak? When is he weak? What causes him to be weak? Can he play the puck? What part does he play in the breakout? What's his role on the penalty kill? There's way more to it than, hey, shoot glove high if you get a breakaway. It's not that simple anymore.
Just another question in regards to, if I look at Jonathan's numbers, basic numbers versus Cal's basic numbers, save percentage, goals against average, you might say, oh, well, it looks like Cal's having a better year. Do you feel that when you look at the deeper numbers that the team has played better, maybe in front of Cal than they have in front of Jonathan? Is anything there?
I have to reflect back on the games and the starts.
Yeah.
It all seems to blend together. I think both our goaltenders have been really good.
Okay.
There's nights where one plays a little better than the other, but the fact that the two of them support each other, that they trust Billy and the rest of the staff to get them prepared. And I can tell you when either of them goes into the net, the group plays for them, not with them. And that's the best sign you can have as a team and as a goaltender.